Hello, welcome to Worksheet 3 of the Business Spreadsheet template for your end of year income taxes. Now, these are your business taxes filed with your personal, the infamous April 15th due date. Now, you do pay self-employment tax if your net income from your business is more than $400. And this just gets added in with your income taxes. Now, the self-employment tax comes out to 15.3%, but it's actually a bit lower than that because you get a deduction for the self-employment taxes you pay on your personal return. And self-employment taxes are only calculated on 92% of the income from your business. So the calculation is a bit complicated. Whether you do your taxes yourself or you hire someone, the software takes care of all of this automatically. And I will let you know that when you're self-employed, working for yourself, your taxes really aren't that complicated. I've seen people kind of waste money and time because they aren't getting the answers they necessarily want, but sometimes people really want more answers. They want different answers. And there are people out there who will take your money and kind of tell you what you want to hear. So just be wary. If it comes to wanting to earn more money, focus on your business. You know, the next steps after these 3 steps are done, you're done with your taxes, your base business stuff is in order. Accounting and taxes. From there, we can start doing the fun stuff, which is planning to grow your business, budgeting, and then looking at that budget and reading your business statements every month, and then using brainstorming activities and thinking outside the box activities to make more money. That's where the fun part is. However, I'll go back to taxes for a minute as I'm kind of doing an overview of your personal and business taxes because they're filed together. So I'll take you through this spreadsheet. What this spreadsheet does is it's going to help you take all of those business expenses you entered, everything you spent your money on for business to earn the income you were paid, is going to be a qualified business deduction. However, for the IRS, the tax form has certain categories. So I'll go through this more, but you will categorize your expenses according to the IRS so that everything's all ready to go. Honestly, after you've done this, you're really ready to use DIY software. I recommend using Free Tax USA. It's free for federal. It's very affordable for state. And it's honestly one of the easier softwares I've used. And I do have a course that walks you through using the software and entering all of your business information and personal. Now, where some business write-offs get a little tricky is if you have expenses that are part personal and business. Now, typically, these would just not have been written off. However, over the years, the IRS has changed their rules and they give us a portion of our personal expenses to write off in our business. So it's really a nice extra benefit that we get to take. There's the home office deduction, right? Those are your home expenses, but you get to take a deduction if you meet some criteria. And I'll go through all of the details of these rules in the spreadsheet videos for Worksheet 3. Driving your personal vehicle, you get to take a deduction for that. So for some of these things where there's personal use and business use, we'll have to allocate the business use to be a write-off, while the personal usage is not. All right, and so just to summarize, for tax purposes, okay, whether or not you have an LLC or not, your taxes are the same. Your business self-employed income and expenses is reported with your personal 1040 on a Schedule C. You can look at the Schedule C. It's self-employed business income and expenses. When you're the LLC, you get to just be taxed as self-employed if you're a single owner, one person owning the business. This is highly recommended route to take. Now, some people may ask, when do I form the S Corp? Will it save me taxes? Yes, the S Corp can save you taxes. However, I do not recommend, and I highly recommend this, not forming an S Corp until you have plenty of money to where you have no problem spending thousands of dollars on professionals. At that point, it can be worth it. At the point where you're making a lot more money than people would normally make at your position, that's when it can be worth it to be paid some in dividends and some in salary. But there's all sorts of rules you have to follow, and you have to pay thousands of dollars to set that up. So it's not worth saving $1,000 in taxes for the gigantic headache you will get of being an S Corp. Now, I've seen some people really get totally screwed over by companies that want to teach people things, and they're teaching people how to start businesses, and they tell them they have to form this S Corp. And so they make this S Corp, they get totally overwhelmed, they never even really get going. I've seen this quite a few times. A lot of people have contacted me about this. So don't get caught up in that, okay? Taxes really isn't that complicated. I know, you're gonna kill me on that one. The one other thing I want to go through is hiring a professional versus DIY. For taxes, if you've found someone you like and trust, you really, for a self-employed return with a business form attached to it, you really shouldn't be paying more than $500. And even that would be pretty high, but it depends on everything you have going on in personal. You know, the more forms you have, the more you expect to pay per form, especially if you want to get like every little write-off and you keep track of all sorts of stuff. Those little things add up. However, you shouldn't be paying over $1,000. Now, if you go to a firm that's set up for bigger people, bigger businesses, bigger clients, you could end up paying a lot more. But you want to be really clear with people about when you talk to, if you're looking for a CPA, you want to be very clear with them about what their prices are, how much money you make, and they'll be honest with you, but you have to be receptive to them as well. If they're like, well, we really don't work with people who are self-employed, we work with bigger businesses, and you go to them, you could pay way more than you should, and they're probably not even as specialized in your type of business. So I'll be honest with you, Free Tax USA is really an awesome software. It's free for federal, like $9.99 for state. You can certainly find people. The best way to find a bookkeeper, an accountant, a tax professional is to ask other people with similar businesses as yours who does their taxes. Now, if they don't have a good review of the person, obviously skip them. But one thing I will explain is I wouldn't expect your tax professional to necessarily be around to answer questions all year or to meet with you multiple times. If you want to meet and talk through your taxes with them, let them know that you want to pay for that. Or you might be better off just bringing your taxes to me and scheduling a session with me, because that's what I'm really set up to do. That's the thing about tax preparers and bookkeepers. You know, first of all, they don't necessarily have the expertise to explain this stuff to other people. Second of all, that's not how they make money. They make money doing it. So they don't necessarily have services set up to charge you for that type of support. And because people want cheap prices, they've kind of, you know, found their groove at the lowest price possible. So that doesn't necessarily include all this extra time to talk to people about things. I hope that maybe clears up any issues you've had with tax people, any confusion you had about your LLC taxes. Same thing as when you're self-employed, so there's no complication, and the stuff really doesn't have to be that complicated, and freetaxusa.com is awesome. Otherwise, ask around for referrals for a good tax person. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next videos when I go through this worksheet 3, where we'll get all of your information for taxes in order and categorize all of your accounting expenses as the tax category so that everything's ready to go, whether you go to a professional or you do it yourself.